Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever in the world you are. My name is Wilbert Mukori, and welcome to this program. Tonight, I'd like to follow up on an issue that I think is a serious problem in Zimbabwe. This inability to understand the importance of holding those in public office to democratic account. We, as Zimbabweans, while we will willingly endorse the idea that we embrace democratic accountability, for some reason we seem to think that that applies as long as our particular leader is not to be held accountable. If it's Zanu PF, Zanu PF has got the classical excuse that any Zimbabwean who criticizes the regime must be a puppet of the West and is on a reform or regime change agenda. And it seems the opposition have copied the same mentality. If you criticize the opposition, you will be accused of supporting Zanu PF, of being against Chamisa, of hating Chamisa. And the mob will be after you. I think this is a mentality that we've got to deal with. If we want to have a truly democratic system of government, we have got to deal with this problem. I'll welcome Benjamin. Benjamin, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. To our viewers, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. We'll start with playing this video clip of one of the Zimbabwean journalists interviewing one of the Zimbabwean politicians. And unfortunately, this mentality of leaders are not accountable, to me, is the theme.
About 2 months ago, you put out a tweet that you had some beef with Nelson Chamisa. Can you let us in on that?
Can you read that tweet? Not in the beef name.
You let me just check it. Unfortunately, my internet. I was just trying to check on it, and my internet just went off. But you said that he must come out clean on something, and that if he doesn't, chapedzerana. That's what you actually wrote.
Said read it out. I can't answer on what I do. I don't understand.
I had it here, and it's just gone. But I'm sure you know that tweet, don't you?
No, we'll respond on it when you read it. I tweet a lot of things, so I won't definitely.
Do you have any grudges with Nelson Chamisa?
I don't have any grudge with him. Why should I have any grudge with him?
You have come out strongly against him all the times, mostly all the times, even just in this interview. You actually mentioned him as one of the people that received foreign funding to destabilize this country.
Are you trying to say that Chamisa should not be criticized?
I didn't say criticized. I said you have come out strongly against him.
Am I not allowed to come out strongly against him?
You have not done so against other political leaders. For instance, Valerio.
What has Valerio done in Zimbabwe? I should come out strongly against her.
And therefore you will attain this by being militant and insulting others?
That's who I am. I'm a militant person and I've never insulted anyone. Take that back. I have never insulted anyone. If you insist I insulted anyone, I want you to show me the tweet I have insulted anyone. I always make sure that I converse in a dignified manner.
Shimono has alleged that you have insulted.
Wait. And then social media.
When he responded to you, I think one of those tweets that he then responded to you to say go and party, he had insulted him, had you not?
Wait.
Well, we'll stop it there. Benjamin, what do you think?
I've actually heard this a lot of times, where when you try and encourage debate and so that somebody can actually bring a point or pull out facts to why they are standing for or against such a position. Once they cannot do that, they tell you, why are you going against Chamisa? What about the others that participated? Why do you? It's just ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. Not to say that we should not, go after everybody that participated in rigged elections, but we should be able. Let me say, for democracy to exist, I think Zimbabwe loves the idea of democracy, but they do not know what are the fundamentals that are needed for democracy to exist. And one of the fundamentals is that we need meaningful debate. We need to acknowledge when somebody has done wrong so that there can be correction. And now the problem is, rightfully, like you said, if you question Zanu PF, or in Shona they say warasika gwara, you've done a grievous sin, Then if you go to the opposition, for example, Chamisa, the moment you say Chamisa did this and it's wrong, you are a Zanu PF agent. That will not encourage correction. It will not help us in terms of being able to question some events. We cannot just accept whatever is dished out, whether good, bad, or ugly. You have to question. You have the right to question some of these things. And I'm very happy Linda they stood up, for her right to say, you know what, am I not allowed to say this? She is entitled to say that. That is why democracy is there. So I'm very worried why this gentleman actually had to go about it this way. I think it was ill-planned and a little bit, shallow to be asking such a foolish question.
Yeah, I think the important point here is that that here is a journalist who should take it as part of their responsibility as a journalist. You are there to educate the public, not to brainwash them. This idea that a political leader like Chamisa should not be criticized is the idea that we have been fighting when it comes from Zanu PF end. And to carry it on with opposition, it becomes self-defeating. And I think the other point that must be emphasized here is that people should start looking at, if I say Chamisa, for instance, I've been accused of criticizing Chamisa. If I say Chamisa failed to implement reforms, your reply should be, you should name the reforms that he implemented and prove me wrong. Rather than forget what I said and just concentrate on, oh, you're attacking Chamisa. You should attack the ideas. Whatever I said, I may be wrong. You should prove me wrong. Rather than defend, you should not be criticizing so and so. I think this is one of the problems with our political discourse. We fail to focus on the real issues. The real issues are the ideas you have expressed. if you said Chamisa and company have participated in flawed elections to perpetuate the dictatorship, you've got to provide the evidence. And if you are going to say that is not true, you too have got to provide the evidence that what you said is not true, rather than try to silence the criticism. And I think it is that quantum leap that is failing here. We fail to understand the importance of the ideas as contrast to the trivial issues, the individual.
Yes, I agree with you on that. To say, you know, the moment it's as if you're not allowed to question. And we are just supposed to blindly follow whatever one either political leader says, the mass should just follow. They can never be wrong. I mean, surely the human beings ought to think for themselves, to think outside the box. That's what I think is defines us or differentiates us from animals or other creatures, the ability to think for ourselves, to reason, to question. Now, if you take away those and we just blindly follow, then I don't know where as a country we are going in terms of the democracy we are looking for. Because right now we are looking for it, we don't have it. And not only is Zanu PF denying us, but we are denying ourselves by refusing to ask, by refusing to answer, and protecting something that it's sad. Honestly, we are not going anywhere if we are going to do this.
Yeah, I think that is at the heart of why we are a failed state. Our failure to raise our debate, our political discourse from the trivial issues of personality to the more and focus on the more important issues. Take, for instance, the issue of those people who think, or if you're criticizing Chamisa, you are undermining the struggle to end the Zanu PF dictatorship. The point is, by failing to implement the reforms, even after 23 years, including the 5 in the GNU, it is Chamisa and company who are failing the nation, who are helping Zanu PF to stay in power. By participating in a flawed electoral process. And let's be honest, last year, Chamisa himself is the one who were absolutely adamant in participating in those flawed elections. He even lied to the people that he has got, he has plugged all the vote rigging holes to make sure that people participate in those elections. And then when the elections are rigged, he doesn't even come back to say, what happened to your plugged holes? And this is not the first time it happened. In 2018, it was the same thing. I think this is where we are failing. We are weak minds, according to Socrates. We are always discussing people. What we should be is the other side, the strong minds, discussing ideas. What is it that Chamisa has done? He is a human being, he is a mortal, he is fallible. He should be held to account. The opposition were elected for a specific purpose, and in the case of Zimbabwe, to implement the democratic reforms so that we can stop Zanu PF rigging the elections. That point is important. people should realize that you cannot stop Zanu PF rigging the elections without first implementing the reforms. And you cannot implement the reforms when you have got the opposition that has given up on implementing reforms. Why that is incomprehensible to some people, beggars belief. But there it is. Thank you very much, Benjamin, for joining us tonight. I don't know whether you'd want to say your goodbye and then we'll close off.
Thank you very much for having me, and to our viewers, thank you for joining us. Thank you. Bye.
And everybody, good night. Tomorrow, you join us at 6 o'clock. We will hopefully come up, we hope to have another interesting discussion on a new topic. And I hope we'll be able to join us. And we will also be posting links to some of you out there who may want to participate and give your comments. If you particularly want to participate, you can also send us your comment, and we will try to raise those comments and discuss them. But again, once again, thank you very much for participating tonight. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you, Benjamin.
Sure, no problem.